Happy Thursday. A little bit late, but we are here. I am MoMo Love, for those of you who may not know. And welcome to Many Voices of the Community. So basically, I wanted to start this because we were all kind of going through things, and especially when we found out about the coronavirus, COVID-19, we've all been kind of up and down, struggling, trying to figure out which way we're going to go. And here in Maryland, we are going to open up the state. Governor Larry Hogan has said that we're going to open up the state 5 o'clock on Friday. But even before that, we've been going through. And, I just wanted to reach out to friends and family and see how we can get through this thing. Right? What can we do to make it better? How can we encourage each other and support each other through conversation? And so I just wanted to talk to different people in the community, business owners, and just see how we can get through this thing. Mental, physical check-in, if you will. So I host a radio show on ablazingradio.com weekdays. It's a midday show from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And you can definitely catch me there by downloading downloading the app or logging on to www.ablazingradio.com. Yeah, just go ahead and request to join and we can get started. I see my guest. I also do a Wednesday show on Ablazing Radio. It's called Community Voices, and it's where like-minded people come together to share common goals and interests. So I just thought we would do an extension of this and go ahead and get right into it. So today we have father, husband, brother, son, and DJ by the name of Patrick Scientific. Hello, sir.
Hello. I don't know if you can see me. Can you see me?
I cannot see you. It's all dark.
Oh, you know what it is?
What?
There we go. I had to switch it on.
Hi.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much. I was just letting everybody know the reason that I was doing this is because we are coping with Corona, and we're trying to have some quarantine talks, have many voices of the community come on and talk about how we can make this thing better, how we've been going through, what we've been struggling through. Basically, just a mental, physical check-in, put my eyes on you, see how you're doing, and to ask specifically, DJ Patrick, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I believe I'm a little dark over here with the lighting. If you give me a second, I'm going to get an extra light and run upstairs and run back down real quick.
No, you can't do that. It's fine.
Okay, you sure?
I can see you fine.
All right, I want the millions and millions of fans that like me and you, to be able to get a good shot of me. It's a little...
No, we can see you well.
You're real clear, but it's okay, though. We're good.
Yes, it's fine.
I'll take your word for it.
Yes.
Shouts out to my friend Ebony and my friend LaTanya. Thank you very much. Both of those ladies I love dearly. Thanks for joining in as well, too.
All right. So, coronavirus, when it first came out, I don't know if you knew about it in October, November, December of last year or this year when they first shut it down. But what were your initial thoughts on coronavirus?
Well, I really have no idea what's going on. I mean, just to be honest, married, 2 kids, 9 to 5, DJ as well, and I'm just swamped with work as it is. So, coronavirus, huh? Well, all right, we'll deal with it. Then all of a sudden, you start hearing more and more about how China started it or whatever, and how the first group of information said it came from bats and all this other stuff, and you're kind of wondering where the information is coming from and how to handle it. But I think the most important thing is now that we're in a point where we're trying to stop the spread of it, and people are getting it, and there is a point where people aren't used to dealing with it. Their bodies, people's bodies, you get the flu, your body deals with it. It might deal with it hard. It might just be like, okay, I'll deal with it. Or you get a flu shot and you might never get it. But this new thing, from what I understand, is COVID-19, the novel coronavirus, and it's a new strain that our bodies haven't seen yet. So it's unpredictable the way people will react to it. And so my thing is, okay, well, I guess I gotta try to keep safe and sanitary and clean. And I think the big thing is when a lot of the sports, like when the NBA stopped their games in the middle of the game, stopped their game and suspended the season, and now they've canceled the season. That's, I think, one of the things where it's just like, okay, this thing is serious.
Now it's real.
And it's real to the point where everyone has to wear a mask. Luckily, I got my mask, and I got my family's masks, So as far as I was not on top of it, but now this affects a lot of people in a lot of different ways. Luckily, I get to work from home at my job, and luckily, my wife gets to work from home too. But we're just ill prepared and able to really, how shall I say this, work from home and watch a 7-year-old and a 17-year-old.
Yeah.
And
I'm glad you said that, because I was going to ask you how your family was coping with it. I mean, you see so much on the news. You have a 17-year-old and a 2-year-old, you said?
He's 7.
7, I'm sorry. So then what are you explaining to your son? Is he asking questions? Like, what kind of conversations are you having?
Well, the 17-year-old is quite aware of what's going on, and he can't do anything. The 7-year-old, there's a youthful ignorance, which is beautiful, because he doesn't get to go to school. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have to wake up early in the morning. Yeah. Yeah. There's so much stuff that he doesn't have to do.
Yeah.
He gets to stay up all night. It's not like, hey, you got to go to sleep, So
it's a party for him.
It's a party for him. I mean, he gets a little...
I can hear you now.
Okay, I know you can't see me.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So,
you were saying
with that in mind, yeah, just normal stuff, but he's fine though.
Yeah. So, when you have to go outside and mask up, is he asking why? Does he understand what's happening?
He understands a little bit, but he only understands that now he has to mask up and we're trying to prevent it. It's not a serious thing to him. He's too young to get the severity of it. He's just kind of following what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
He knows his school is different now. He just kind of knows things are different. He doesn't know why or the severity of it and how serious it is.
Yeah.
And to a certain extent, why he knows he can't hug Nana and Grandpa. So there's that, and he knows all of a sudden he's home, I'm home, his mom's home, his brother's home, So there's that. But other than that, he's at a good age where he's not that frustrated with everything. Like I can see a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old being frustrated being home if they're used to going outside, if they're playing sports. Like back in the days when I was young, punishment wasn't just keeping me in the house. Punishment was just keeping me in the house. I could have internet, I could do a whole bunch of stuff, but I used to play basketball, baseball, football in the street. We would do all that stuff. So to me, just being in the house would be too much. But nowadays, kids are doing stuff online, so the 17-year-old's fine. We have to take little walks here and there. My wife will take a walk, and once in a while, I'll just have to go out in the middle of the street. I'll talk to the neighbors. We'll have our social distancing 6 feet away.
Social distancing, okay.
And, we still have to, can you hear me?
Yes.
I still have to take my wife's cousin to work. He works at a hospital, so that's an important concept. He needs to get to work, and I'm just like, I'm fine with that, And he was trying to figure out the bus system, public transportation, and all that. So a lot of things you just take in consideration and fit in where you fit in and do what you can where you can do it.
Yeah. Now, you talked about your 17-year-old. I mean, I know in the age of social media, he's pretty much okay. But even just sitting around the dinner table, what is he saying? Is he confused? Is he asking a lot of questions? Is he worried about anything? Is this his year of graduation?
It is, but he's like, okay, no school. He's happy, you know. I don't have to wake up early to go to school. You know, he's doing his homework. I mean, I think right now, I think it's so late in the game. I don't know if they're failing kids unless they were doing really, really
Yeah, I
bad.
think they're just doing a pass and fail, no grade.
Right, and I think that's fair.
But my concern is for your son and others like him that are seniors, you know, how is that going to affect their going into college or whatever, maybe a trade school? How will that affect him, do you know?
Well, it depends on how shall I say this? How diligent they were in trying to get into these places. If you're diligent, you're pre-applying, you're getting everything straight, so you're approved already. My son got approved to college, so he's got approved to like a bunch of colleges, and he got approved to the one that he wanted to go to. So we're not trying to do like we're not struggling to figure out like, well, what you're going to do. He's got his options, and you know, he's going to do that. But the thing is now, what are his options? What are they going to do? What is the school he want to go to doing for this next semester? So I'm unsure how that's going to work out or work its way out. So that's something that we're trying to figure out. Are they going to have people come on live on campus? You know, are they going to do it all from home? I mean, he's going to be a freshman next year. So what's he going to be taking that's so serious where he needs to physically come on campus?
Right, right.
That's what I'm wondering myself. I remember when I went to college, you know, English, history, maybe a math class, I don't know, chemistry or whatever. There's maybe like chemistry lab where is something where you have to take the chemicals, you mix them together and all that stuff. That's where you have to physically get in there and work on this stuff.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing I could see where, okay, you know, you need to go in. And I would imagine there was a biology lab or something. Those classes with labs like that, I'm unsure how those are being handled, but the rest can be done through remote instruction.
Yep.
And I mean, you could go through Facebook Live if you really wanted to try to do it. You know, an instructor could be like, log on here, get your Facebook account, and I know a lot of other technology companies are realizing that okay, this is an opportunity for us to develop some of these things and get people onto our ecosystem for reaching to other people. You know, there's Google's doing stuff. I'm unsure if other companies, I'm sure Yahoo's going to be trying to do some stuff. So just stuff like that. So I'm generally wondering how the school that he wants to go to is going to be handling that. I'm not necessarily saying I'm stressed. This is his last day of school anyway, so he's done.
Okay.
So
we'll worry about that when it gets closer to it.
Yeah, we'll have to figure it out, and they'll have to figure it out. And a lot of universities have to figure it out. So depending on where you are, the state of Maryland has to figure it out for the state schools. Yeah. And I know private schools have to figure it out too. So
and I think they are. I think they're working through that. I mean, the universities and the colleges that have online classes, I'm sure they can offer that for up until a point, depending on what your major is. And I'm sure they'll work those things through. Just one last thing on family. You know, you said you and your wife are home together all day working together. Has this bond been strengthened during this coronavirus quarantine?
It's neither been strengthened nor weakened. Based on our jobs, I'm in front of a computer. I'm an IT professional. So I've got, now there's a lot of stuff that other people might do. They're just like, Patrick, well, things are going crazy. We need you to do it. So I'm focused on my computer.
Okay.
So I'm not even looking at her or talking to her during the day. She's got a job where she has to be in a room by herself based on the clients that she deals with. They need a level of privacy. So she's in the room locked up completely. So I don't see her. I mean, it's just like normal. Okay. So it's neither here nor there. It's just, okay, we're just here and being apart from each other.
Okay.
But it's good to see her in the middle of the day. You say, hey, where's my wife? You know, so it's always great to see her.
What kind of activities are you guys doing when you clock out or for the weekend?
Well, that's one of the things I've found out, that I don't really clock out too much. I mean, I've been doing everything. Like I go to the store. Not saying my wife doesn't do anything, but I go to the store. You know, if I go to the store, my wife, if she has to go somewhere, she needs to get something done, I have to make sure her car is in order to get it done. I just bought her some tires, so I have to make sure I got her tires. My car isn't starting, so I got to make sure that's in working order. Just a bunch of other stuff. So I'm working all day, and then I'm DJing at the radio station, just managing the radio show. So that's another thing I have to manage, and that's taking bits and pieces of me during the week. And it's like the difference is, I could just prepare to do the show at the radio station, but now it's a little different the way we have to get things done for the radio show. So it's taking a lot more time during the day, as opposed to me just getting my gear and just bringing it to the station and working there. It was real easy then, but it's different. But I'm doing a lot, and to be honest, she's doing a lot. She's doing more with watching the kid, making sure he gets his homework done. She's wonderful. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, I'm looking around like, huh? And she's feeding him. That's another thing. All of a sudden, I'll be like, my son, his name is Quinn. Quinn will be like, "Hey, I'm hungry, Daddy." I'm thinking, oh, I got to feed the kid. I mean, oh, that's right. Because I'm not used to feeding them during the middle of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, I might make him breakfast.
So many adjustments that we've all had to deal with, and with May being Mental Health Awareness Month, Patrick, I am just concerned that you're sitting all day. What kind of self-care are you doing? Are you exercising?
Well, I'm trying to. I need to get back in the gym. I mean, but, the gyms are closed. I mean, I feel for them.
Wait a minute, Patrick. I don't want to ask you how old you are, but I'm going to assume that you know what calisthenics are, and I'm trying to understand what's happening.
See, I figured that a lot of people, depending on what they like to do, they'll do what they'd like to do.
True.
Some people like to do a lot of cardio. I hate cardio.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it. So give me some weights and I'll lift them. I like doing that. I feel fine doing that.
Okay.
And therefore, since, you could do push-ups and sit-ups and whatever. So I'm doing a few push-ups and I'm trying to figure out some other stuff. But, well,
in between those work tickets, get you 25 push-ups in, get you 25 sit-ups in, and then there you go.
I've got so many tickets. I'm so backed up on the job. It's bad, but it's not my fault. My management they're cool about it. They know that, we're short staffed.
Yeah.
The virus is going on, and sometimes I have to even go in and do something that requires me to physically do something.
Wow.
But as far as mental health goes, I think we're handling it well. We're okay. We're not really going insane. A little bit of cabin fever because, I want to go outside, but not much I can really do. I actually have gone on my back patio a couple of times and this is nice. I would never do it.
So let me ask you, you go out to the station and you go out to the store, but do you feel that you can't go to the park and walk? Do you feel like you can't take a walk around your neighborhood, or do you just feel better or more safe staying inside?
That is something. I'm not a walker.
Okay.
I'm a lifter.
Okay.
And I've figured out that I'd rather wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning or 4:30 in the morning, get my gear on, and go to the gym and lift.
Okay.
And then I do the little cardio, a little bit of cardio, because I hate cardio. Have I said I hated cardio?
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure we got that. I've done my cardio, my little bit of cardio, just to warm up and get everything warm, and then I'm just lifting, and I'm lifting and lifting and lifting, and then I do my stretching and my cool down. Then I'm happy, Yeah.
But yeah.
That's something that has affected me a little bit, where I can't really do that anymore. I'm thinking, I've got to adjust somehow. So I'm trying to make that adjustment.
So I know you've been seeing a lot of the DJs, and I know that you go to the radio station to play, so you're able to get that release. Have you thought about doing anything for your fans and friends, getting on like IG or Zoom and just making us feel great through music?
I have done that a couple of times, and it depends on how the censors are, the people that are with the music you play. If it's a Warner Brothers song, Warner, Sony, they're just like, nope, that's not yours. You can't play that.
Yeah.
So I mean, only a few people can get away with that. But I mean, like I said, I've done it before. I actually did one. I mean, a lot of DJs, and I've seen a lot of DJs do this. They're putting up their Cash App thing where if you want to leave a tip, you can, because it's a real relief for a lot of people. They just love the music and you're helping people out. Depending on the genre of music, I mean, I'll talk about DJs in Baltimore. My friend DJ Booby and Scotty B. They're really talented DJs, great DJs, inspirations to me, but they play a style of music, Baltimore house music, Baltimore club music, which they're actually the ones that have made a lot of it.
Okay.
So no one's stopping them from like replaying it, so they can do that all the time. So they'll probably do that once a week or whatever. So people really get off on that. But as far as myself, I've done a couple of streams. I've done some Facebook Live. I've done an Instagram thing, and I've actually dedicated one to my Okay.
I'm sorry.
I see you again.
Somebody called me. I was supposed to make sure that my Do Not Disturb was on. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. So I was talking about my niece and how I dedicated one of my sessions to her. I put up her Cash App thing and said, hey, I don't need the money. I'm working full time. My job is paying me. My wife's getting paid too, but she's an artist and she works at the Woolly in DC. And that's closed. So her income is gone, and it's affecting a lot of artists and anyone that's in the arts and entertainment. I mean, and people whose lives are based off of that. Like there's clubs that I would DJ at or go to. Those are shut down now, and that's a big thing. Where some DJs, that's their livelihood, and some get like me, just get a little extra money here and there. I don't necessarily DJ for the money like that. So that's why I said, hey, give my cousin Akira, my niece Akira, she's being affected by it, and this help, and she got a little money off of it. So I mean, I think that was something that you try to do, but the arts and entertainment thing is always hurting based on social distancing. And I've listened to a bunch of people. Lord Finesse, I love listening to his set. Of course, D Nice's set is good, but I've kind of been drawn towards listening to Lord Finesse on his DJ sets. Okay. So his sets are fantastic. So I've done a few, you know. I mean, I'll get a few listeners, you know, and it'll be fun. I was doing it every Thursday or whatever at 5:00 or whatever. So it was fun trying to do it. But now that my 9 to 5 is making me do more and more and more stuff, I just don't have the time. Yeah. And of course with the wife and the kids and just the whole trying to keep I'm not a full-time DJ, so therefore I have that 9 to 5 to do. When we were at the job, we're trying to figure out things. I had a little extra time so I could do it. Now it's just like, okay, they figured it out and not even possible.
I like, but it's fun though. You got lots of good LPs back there, it looks like. I mean, old school type.
Oh yeah, see that?
I love it.
And see, there's more over there too. Oh, wow. And there's more. Yeah, I'm a real DJ.
I see.
Real vinyl. I see. Yeah, and those are turntables back there. There's a mic set up, so I was doing everything there. So it's a fun thing. So I call this the Science Lab, Patrick Scientific, the whole thing back there.
And I'm glad you said that. How did you figure out that name, DJ Patrick Scientific?
Well, it's not even a great leap of art or ingenuity. I have a degree in electrical engineering from Morgan State University.
Wow.
So Patrick Scientific, I was like, that works. Yeah. It just fits, you know.
It just fits.
And big shout out to DJ Scientific. He went to Morgan State University. He works at NASA. He's a fantastic DJ too.
Okay.
So we went to school together. He was Marky B, and I was just Patrick. And then all of a sudden, he changed his name to DJ Scientific. I changed my name to Patrick Scientific. We kind of talk to each other every once in a while, like, you know, we're going to get mistaken for each other based on things. And it's happened every once in a while.
You guys get mistaken.
Yeah, someone saw him doing Instagram live thing. It was just like, Patrick, this isn't you. And I'm like, hey, Mark, guess what? We got mistaken again. But Mark's a fantastic DJ. He's a good friend of mine, too. So big shouts to DJ Scientific.
Well, we'll have to check him out. Now, you said your wife is doing most of the cooking, but are you guys trying new recipes with being at home, eating all day, 3-4 meals a day, snacks? What's happening?
The 17-year-old is snacking all day. He's just, he's in that, he's snacking, but he's sleeping. He's just like, okay, it's the best thing to coast out. I mean, he's not like, I'm not saying he's, what can he do? There's not much he can do. That's not what the teachers can do. They've got to figure out this stuff in 3 weeks and try to do the best they can to get him to do something. And he's just like, yeah, this is the best you can do. I'm coasting my way out of it. He just wants to graduate, so he's graduated. So he's done. So my wife has been trying a few new recipes out, so they've been really good. And we've still got the staples that we usually do. She does a great stew chicken. My wife's from her parents are from St. Kitts. She was born in the U.S. Virgin Islands. So, yeah, an American citizen. She still know how to whip up
a Caribbean dish.
She knows how to, but her mom does it a little better, I would say. That's because she's changed her personal diet, so she doesn't do it as much.
Gotcha.
But definitely her mom can go down. So, yeah, I think she's been trying a bunch of different recipes, but, that's another thing. There's 5 people in this house. So depending on what you're doing and where you live, I'm thinking, okay, we need to have toilet paper. We need to have paper.
How's that going? Uh-oh.
Can you hear me? You can see me?
I can hear you and see you. I can hear you and see you fine.
Big shout out to Dante, but that's my man right there. We go way back to the old neighborhood in Baltimore.
Okay. So Maryland is opening up this weekend. Governor Larry Hogan has said that he will lift the stay-at-home orders to staying safe at home orders. It's going to happen Friday at 5:00. The weather is going to be 80 degrees plus. And people are going to be out and about as if never before. You can go and get your hair done, your hair cut, your nails done by appointment only. However, Angela also Brooks in Prince George's County and Montgomery County has said that they are not opening. Do you think it's too soon?
Personally, I think it's way too soon because they don't have a cure. They don't have enough information on this.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's going to be open. And I think that, meaning that everything's going to be open, but I don't know if that's going to help because some people are going to be like, I don't really want to go out. I'm not going to go to the club when no one can figure out how this thing really gets transmitted and there's no vaccine for it.
Well, the clubs aren't opening, but the clubs aren't opening, but the restaurants can be up to 50% capacity. You can get your hair and nails done by appointment. But if you think about it, where I live, which is on Baltimore Avenue or 198, 197, if you drive all the way up and down that road, when I tell you everything is open, sans hair, barber, beauty, nail, those things are not open, but every restaurant is open, every store is open, 7-Eleven, Quick Mart, everything is open. So I'm just trying to figure out how are we going to mitigate this if everybody is essential and out and about?
I have no idea. And I think we don't have enough data on how does this spread? And what are we going to do when it does spread? There's, like I said, with the flu vaccine, you can go to CVS, you can go to Giant and get a shot for it. We don't have a shot for this.
Right.
And therefore, we don't know how to treat it. And if you have the symptoms, you go to the hospital, you might have it, you might not have it.
Yeah.
So I think this is just happening way too soon. But obviously, I want to say that the economy is on hold. And I think that's what, in my humble opinion, they're trying to do. They're trying to start back up the economy because people need to work. And just to piggyback off that, we live down the street from each other. I'm sure I've run into you sometime. I'm by the Laurel Regional Hospital.
Okay.
So my thing is, if people need to pay rent and people need to pay their bills, they need to work to do it. And so many people are just out of jobs. So much unemployment's out there. I mean, teachers aides. There's a lot of people that aren't essential staff that are just like, okay, well, to a certain extent, librarians. Libraries aren't going to be open. I'm unsure how they're going to open if they're not, but there's plenty of people that are just like, okay, we got to temporarily furlough you. So I personally think that, and then if there's a rise on the occurrences of the coronavirus, then we've just messed things up because now even more people have it. I just don't think it's a good idea right now. And kids, oh my goodness, kids spread all sorts of stuff. That's why the schools are closed. It's not like they're closed because the teachers don't. I mean, the teachers can't do anything, but you want to keep kids far away. I mean, they do all sorts of stuff. Hey, what's going on? You know, all of a sudden, and then shaking your hand and they, Mommy, Daddy, and then all of a sudden you got it.
Yeah, and this is why I encourage people to even wash their babies' hands. You know, they're crawling around on the floor, putting every little thing in their mouth. Mm-hmm. Now, it is true that the children's immune system is they can carry germs. Theirs a lot stronger than ours. However, what's been happening now in New York, it's been called, they've been having some kind of correlation with coronavirus disease. It kind of has the same symptoms of what's called Kawasaki disease in children. And it's kind of like the same respiratory, headache, fever. I mean, this whole flu thing, you know, and then I'm always all over the place, Patrick, but we are in hay fever in allergy season. Like, this thing is going to just keep going if we don't kind of mitigate it better than what Dr. Fauci said originally.
I agree with you. And opening businesses is not a good way to mitigate anything. But, I mean, like I said, barbers aren't essential. Salon stylists aren't essential, but they got to pay rent. They got bills to pay. They might have a car, and all of a sudden, through no fault of their own, they're not getting paid.
Yeah. Well, but here's the other side, though. I think it's like 33 million Americans who are now unemployed, and most of those people are getting unemployment benefits. If not unemployment, they may or may not have received that one-time $1,200 pandemic relief fund or whatever. So from my understanding, Congress is trying to work to bring in additional monies because, again, we're in hay fever season. Then we're going to get into October, which is going to be flu season again. And if we're paying attention to the news, which, I mean, we have this 24 news cycle going on, Wuhan had to shut their country back down, Spain, Italy. And if we're not paying attention to what's already written before us, we're going to be right back to everybody being sick again.
I totally agree. And I think the difference with our country and some of these other countries is the actual size of our country. The United States is huge.
Humongous.
There's more people in New York City than there are in some of these countries. I mean, and I did say New York State. I said New York City.
Yes.
So I don't know how you mitigate all of that stuff. And they're on top of each other. And Canada's closed borders, you know. Mexico's, I'm sure they'll close their borders too. But it's just hard. And the country, each state has its own government. There's federal, then there's state, then there's local. So there's all that stuff that's going on, trying to mitigate all this stuff. I think it's different in a place like I was talking to one of my neighbors. He said in China, there's I don't want to call him a dictator, but there's a supreme ruler, one guy. He's like, shut it down. There's no back talk. There's no people complaining about it. It's just like, no, it's shut down.
Let me say something. If he's a dictator, this is what he dictated. I don't know his name, but they had built 2 hospitals during that time. They developed a plan where if you're in this county, neighborhood, city, whatever they call them, you had like a purple card. And then the next town had a red card. So the purple cards were able to go out maybe Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. The red cards went out Tuesdays, Thursdays, and maybe Saturdays. So they were able to keep an eye on what was happening and when it was happening. When they thought that they had mitigated it down to where there maybe have been no deaths, they opened the country, but then there ended up being 6 deaths. So they had to shut it back down. Like I said, with this 24/7 news cycle, coronavirus is rampant. We don't know how we're getting it. It's a movie every day. We go outside,
agreed,
mask and gloves, and remembering to take off our mask and gloves before we get into our car and come home and things of that nature. I wanted to, just reach out to friends and family, business owners, just to see how we're coping with this thing. How are we dealing with it, and how can we help one another get through it? With maybe in Mental Health Awareness Month, I thought it would be really, really good to do that. Patrick, I still want to know, what kind of books, in the little bit of time that you may have, any kind of books, movies, or music that just kind of uplift, inspires, or make you smile that you can recommend to the family?
Well, the one thing I will suggest is that if you like music, Instagram Live, Facebook Live, there are plenty of DJs that they're just like, well, if they get caught and they get shut down, they get shut down.
Yeah.
But, in around another hour, they'll be back up. Or the next day, they'll be back up. So there's plenty of music out there. Listen to these DJs, and you want to support the DJs, please do, because some of these DJs, that's their livelihood.
Yeah.
And if you can support them, support them. The one thing I can say is that some of these places that are very fundraiser driven, like public broadcasting, public radio, they need funding too, because they're trying to do
Patrick. This. Why do they need funding? Why is that important?
Well, they keep you up to date on some of the stuff that's going on. I'm at WEAA, and it's a public radio station. The one thing I will put out here first is that it's Morgan State University is a state institution. So people are always asking me, hey, Patrick, this person, read this, and this is some information on the coronavirus and a possible cure or what you need to do. And I always tell them, I can't say that because I'm a part of a state institution, and I have to follow what the state of Maryland says is the right thing to do. So I can only say the websites like health.maryland.gov, health.baltimorecity.gov, and cdc.gov. That's pretty much all I can.
Following anyway.
I agree, because there's lots of independent stuff. I would say this: you need to pray. You need to follow the science, Patrick Scientific. Follow the science. And pray for the integrity of the scientists that are doing this stuff.
Yes, sir.
And as far as stuff that you can watch on Netflix, Hulu, all these other services, there's plenty of things to watch. There's plenty. I was watching an interview with Peter Dinklage or whatever. The guy was the little person who was on Game of Thrones. He's been in a bunch of other stuff as well, too.
Yeah.
And he said there's so many networks. Amazon's doing stuff. Apple's doing stuff. Netflix, Hulu. There's all these other networks like Bounce TV, Centris. There's too many to name.
Yeah.
No actor should be unemployed. And there's plenty of stuff to explore if you can do it. And so, then if you really want to go there, you can see some of these older shows. Like there's on Me TV where they go back and play like older reruns of stuff. So I'm a fan of The Rifleman.
Feel good. Get to some feel good. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's plenty of stuff that you can watch on television. I'm actually watching a television show called The Good Cop. It's with Tony Danza.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that before.
Yes, and it's a great show. I think it's one of those things where... it's a fun show. It's good for the family. 15 and older, maybe. I don't think I'd let my 7-year-old see it because of the language. That's not really bad, but it's comical. But, he doesn't need to hear the S word and the F word,
right.
you know, and some of the subject matter is adult oriented, but definitely there's plenty of stuff to do. I mean, now you can't go to like bookstores, and I mean, there's something about going to a bookstore and picking up a book and doing it. I still, I've always been into comic books.
Oh, nice.
So I just started buying comic books about a year ago, just restarted again. And, you know, there's plenty of things that are out there that are.
So, Patrick, speak.